Cronus Network.
Hey, I'm Gabe, and this is my FilmCast. I give you my initial reaction and build a film review around that. I don't script things out, but I do have notes. Sit back, enjoy. Joker was originally presented as a Scorsese project, and on that level I was very interested. But what I didn't understand was why make the movie about Joker? If it was to be a departure from the character and it wouldn't involve Batman in any form, then why not just make it another character? I wanted this film to simply be Scorsese along the lines of Taxi Driver, but without the Joker baggage. As such, I was not all that interested, and early images did nothing for me. The trailer was okay, but despite not being all that jazzed about the Joker aspects of this film initially, I grew excited about it as word of how good it was came out, and as it made its way around the film festival circuit, winning various honors. So, should I go? Alright, fine. We all knew I was going to go see it anyway. We were all going to go see it regardless, so let's just hope it lives up to the hype. Okay, so the flick was directed by Todd Phillips on a $55 million budget. Todd Phillips is an American filmmaker and actor. He is best known for writing and directing the comedy films Road Trip, Old School, Starsky and Hutch, The Hangover Trilogy, and Due Date. Not exactly who you would think they'd choose for a gritty, Scorsese-like character study. But, I mean, he was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Adapted Screenplay on Borat. So that's something, right? Hey, the film did win the Golden Lion, and that's the highest prize given to a film at the Venice Film Festival. And that's a very discerning crowd. And I guess the Hangover movies were pretty dark in nature, so maybe it's not so crazy that he was given this gritty crime drama to direct. With a leading man like Joaquin Phoenix, you know you've got an actor who's going to go all in with the character. You even got De Niro, Taxi Driver himself, coming in for a supporting role. Seems like Joker really is poised to be a true cinematic experience. Well, alright, the movie's starting. I'll see you all in a bit. Alright, so I just got done watching Joker. I know it's very dark in here, so I'll keep this brief. But I loved Joker. Loved it. It was exactly what I wanted it to be. It was Taxi Driver. It was a gritty Scorsese old school character study. It's not the kind of movie that you walk out of saying, hey, I loved it, I feel great. But it is the kind of film that you walk out of and you can have endless conversations about. In fact, I would suggest that you watch this with a group because you're going to be watching the film. Your friends will be watching the film. But I guarantee that amongst your group, various members would have had a different experience than others. They're going to have seen this film through a different perspective. Now, the film itself is told from Joker's perspective, so I understand a lot of the concern regarding the glorification of violence, but this movie doesn't glorify violence per se, but the Joker always, it's just part of his character, glorifies the spectacle of violence. So you are going to get a bit of that. And since you're seeing through his eyes, a bit of glorification of violence is going to come through. But it is not to say that the film doesn't balance that out. It shows the horror of violence. I don't believe that it is calling for violence or calling to incite violence. But violence is a part of that world, and violence becomes how this character gets the attention that he wants, that he so desperately longs for. So yeah, it's a dangerous concept, but it isn't one that is untrue, and you have to look at true art in the right context. Is it art that is inspiring society, or is art a reflection of what has been inspired in society? So as I said, it's a film that you're going to be thinking about for a while. The film the film is very difficult to watch on many levels. One level that really hit me pretty hard is the fact that it depicts mental illness in a very visceral way, in a very accurate way. I've been around mental illness in my life, and the way it comes across sincere, the way it comes across as if the person you're talking to absolutely 100% experienced what they're describing. They went through those motions. They felt everything that they're telling you because they did. The reason why it's so credible is because they did. And this film shows you that, the grittiness of it. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix just did such an amazing job that he completely disappeared into this character, and you believe everything this character is going through, and you believe that he is experiencing the degree of mental illness that he is conveying. It's really quite amazing, and at the same time so very difficult to watch because it is such dark subject matter. It is disturbing. It will be disturbing to most people, to your very core, because to not be able to trust your own mind, to not be able to really tell what's real and what's not, this is a frightening concept. In that sense, you will feel dread and almost horror when you're watching this film. Joker is a dark and deep character study. It transcends genre as a true piece of cinema. The truth is, this movie didn't need to be about the Joker, but that is not to say that it being about the Joker didn't work. To my surprise, it did, and it did so spectacularly. Ultimately, I have to say this film is a deep, visceral experience with an abundance of verisimilitude. Phoenix delivers the best performance of the year thus far. I was convinced that was gonna be Pitt and DiCaprio in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but after watching Joker, I think Phoenix is taking home the Oscar this year. The direction was also masterful. This is a great flick. You can hate it in terms of subject matter and how it may make you feel, but in terms of craftsmanship, it holds up to the hype. This is a must-see flick. But be aware that it's not for everyone. Not everyone will love this movie. It's awfully hard to watch at times, and it portrays despair very well. As for my experience with the flick, I loved it, despite having found the subject matter hard to watch. The film really says something about nature versus nurture. What happens when a broken man is given the perfect environment in which to become a monster? And could it have been prevented had we as a society just been more compassionate? These are relevant questions, whether you like them or not. Do we just sweep away broken people, pretend they don't exist? Do we create an elite outlook through which we cast judgment down upon others? Is that what we do? Maybe. Granted, this is one man's experience in a fictional world, but it could very well be anyone's experience in our very own world. I can see why some are concerned about this film's influence on our culture. But keep in mind, this piece of cinema is merely reflecting back onto us what our culture may very well be breeding. And being forced to reflect on that has worth. This is a piece of art, and as such, it will inspire emotion. The film can be interpreted from varying perspectives, yet it is showing us the point of view of one man's transformation into a monster. This is a film that really demands a spoiler discussion, and so depending on the response to this episode, I'll consider doing that. Script here is top notch. The performances are spectacular. De Niro is on point with his supporting role. Phoenix is almost at a Daniel Day-Lewis level of good in this film. The flick is beautifully shot. and becomes emotionally gripping with its editing and pacing. This is a masterpiece of film. Forget about it being a comic book movie. This is film. I loved it. I really loved it. See this film. And that about does it. Hit like, subscribe, share, drop some comments, help me build a film community, and thank you for watching.